Jay Massey is a full-time real estate investor. He's an entrepreneur.
He also teaches people how to find deals, raise capital for real estate investments.
Meeting Jay Massey in person, you'd think he's just a regular guy. He's got jeans and a t-shirt on and a pair of sneakers. But he's built up a multi-million-dollar empire.
I hope you do have an empty notebook because it's going home filled.
Jay gives back so much value that I've never seen.
Now, at this moment, when I'm looking at the kitchen, things are going through my head.
You want to be friends with him, and he treats you like you're the only person in the room, even though it's for the benefit of everybody.
This is how, when you ask yourself, how does Jay do it? This is how.
He tells people that they have to take action, and they have to take action now. I took the action, and the results have paid off.
What happens when the marketplace understands who we are and how we go out there?
Oh man. Good morning, guys. How you doing? The photo that you just saw, or that you see right there, is brought to you by my mother. She decided to send me a photo of I guess me. I don't know how old I'm guessing 10. I don't really know how old I am in that particular photo, but yes, I did have hair. So there you go. That was definitely a while ago. Definitely a while ago. Anyway, wanted to say good morning, and for those of you who are preparing for Easter and all that type of stuff, this clearly was an Easter photo. That much I know, because you know, the basket, the suits, and all of that. But that definitely was a shock this morning when I saw it. I'm like, what is in the world? Like, you never know what your mothers have, right? They got all the good stuff. They got all the good stuff on you. So hopefully you guys have been having a good day so far. I want to, oh, hold on. I'm missing some of the comments. Give me 1 second. I want to be able to see this. There we go. All right. Is that working? Looks like it is. Anyway, for those of you who I haven't met yet, welcome. My name is Jay. And what we do here is we do our best to help build you. Like, as we go through this journey together, we build you. I mean, the CEO of a company called Cashflow Diary, and what we do there is we build people to become and help them become entrepreneurs, etc. Specifically in real estate, usually short-term rentals. And what we decided to do is that in April, we said, you know what, let's challenge ourselves. Let's do something we've never done. Let's go live every day at 8 a.m. Pacific time and make that happen. And here we are. So we've been going live. We've been sharing information that we believe will help you become stable, a bigger, better version of yourself, specifically when your normal has been upended, has been changed, has been, I don't know, in some cases it feels like it was taken from you, and I get that. So what I wanted to do today is I want to share a particular exercise, because figuring out why you haven't done something, or like, how come I can't get myself to move, or what's the problem, or etc. What's it going to take for me to finally go out there and do something and build? Totally understood. I'm gonna share with you an exercise that I discovered, I should say, and because I just find it to be the case for a lot of us, and in a lot of ways, and what it is that it takes for us to move forward. So before I get too far into that, though, for those of you who are here for the first time, do me a favor, go ahead and in the chat, go ahead and type the word first, because I would love to welcome you, say hello, that type of thing. Also, for those of you who don't already know, we have been in the process of moving over to our new permanent Facebook page at facebook.com/cashflowdiarylive. Again, that's facebook.com/cashflowdiarylive. And I want to make sure that for those of you who are like, hey man, I thought you did, short-term rental stuff, where's that information? Well, we handle that completely separate stream, separate everything. So you're going to want to go over to cashflowdiary.com/learn live. So we won't be, at least not right now, talking about any of the short-term rental stuff. All right, so hopefully the things that we have been sharing have been helping you. At least that's been the goal, and that will continue to be the goal, obviously, because we want to make sure that all of us, come through this unique time in all of our lives a little bit better than we went in, which means we do that with intention. Something does not improve. We do not improve by happenstance. It just doesn't happen like that. There has to be a desire to take focused time and build a new skill. All right. And we talked about that a number of days ago. Now, one of the things that I ran across on the interwebs, meaning, we've all been spending probably more time online than we normally do, is a video that I figured would help all of us. I know one of the things to think about when you're trying to build yourself or become a different, better version of you is to know that you're not the only one who is going through something. So I found a video that I think will help you, me, we, us all continue to process this. And then when we come back, we're going to talk about a exercise that should assist you, me, all of us, just for having the proper context to be able to figure out what is it going to take to get each of us to move forward. Because sometimes moving forward, we think to ourselves, how come I haven't? Why can't I just go out there and build the next skill? And how come I haven't been able to do X, Y, Z yet? And I have all this time, but I can't make, forward progress. We're going to do our best to shed some light on that and to give you a tool that will help you in the future, starting in just a few minutes, to begin to make that type of change. So again, for those of you who are here for the first time, go ahead and type first in the chat. And as I play this video, if there's something in particular that you learn, by all means, type that in the chat as well, because we always write down one thing. We want to capture one thing that you learn, because you just never know the value of an idea. So just capture one thing that you learn, and I will see you in just a moment. Let me see this, and iPad, and play. Well, that didn't work.
Yo. Buongiorno.
Hey. Howdy. How's it going?
Hey, brother. How you doing?
Hello.
I'm Gaston. I'm from Argentina.
I'm Yurki from Finland.
Grace from Indiana.
Tokyo. I'm from New Jersey. North Macedonia.
El Salvador.
My name is Ayola from Nigeria.
So how's LA?
Everything's closed, so I'm just kind of stuck.
It's pretty quiet. It's weird. It's like every day you look out the window, it looks like an early Sunday morning.
Look at our beards, first of all.
I know.
The day after we left, we got an email from the building, and they were like, someone in the building tested positive for COVID-19.
It's been pretty scary for me, like not knowing what, like when he comes home from work, whether he's going to have symptoms or if like in a couple of days he's going to develop them. So it's like, when you're isolating, you have like, once like the 14 days is up, you don't have it. But for us, like the timer just keeps starting over every single day. So
the worst is like the game, like that. Do you wear the gloves now? At what point do you? Oh man, now
take off one glove.
I do clean hand, dirty hand was a thing that I learned in hazmat. I had that Bali trip with 20 people, and we had to call that off, obviously. That was like one of the first things where it really affected me personally. Carrie's home all the time now. She's a school teacher. They just closed off all the schools for the rest of the year.
We are 1 week into our official lockdown.
It's eerie. Just being out, going to work, and not seeing cars.
I'm a senior in college, so my semester's kind of come to a halt, graduation postponed.
Thousands of pounds worth of work just gone.
I lost all my traveling gigs, so that was all my work for April and May, and now weddings are starting to get canceled.
The more crew-based stuff, I mean, it's just all shut down. That's been pretty intense, for sure.
My wife ended up losing her job, so she had to file for unemployment. So she's a part of the 6 million Americans who did that last week.
All weddings are postponed, some are canceled. It's crappy. It's really crappy.
We were like in the middle of nowhere on a farm. I got pulled into the trailer and they're like, we're shutting down the shoot right now. And there was like 50 of us on this.
So that's a lot of income that is like just gone.
She's actually 8 months pregnant, so I could potentially not be in the delivery room.
I actually work at a hospital and I'm a photographer and videographer there. So, and being in the midst of all this COVID and around patients and staff who come into contact with it. So it's definitely been a strain trying to keep myself healthy as well.
Japan was supposed to host the Olympics in 2020, and as soon as the postponement announcement was made for that, we saw a steady rise in cases pretty much every single day.
Sitting there reading all the x-rays today and all the CT scans and just seeing the sheer number of people in the history was like COVID positive, rule out COVID-19. And even comparing to say a week ago, it's crazy how much it's increased. People and a lot of people who are sick in different age groups too. Like a lot of young people who have some pretty messed up looking lungs that you wouldn't expect otherwise.
I'm in the Army here in the United States. My wife is about 1,500 miles away back home, and I haven't seen her since most of this stuff happened.
And I work as a video editor for the news, dealing like the whole day with the news about the COVID-19. It's quite a bit of stress.
This is a wartime situation where there's a select group of people who are fighting, putting their lives at risk for the larger population.
We're just like trying to take as many precautions as possible. Like when he gets home, just like doing the whole sanitation process of wiping everything down with Lysol and cleaning the scrubs and in the shower right away, and the phones and the keys and the glasses and everything get, you know, clean.
I can't imagine, because I'm already stressed enough going to the grocery store.
People running the grocery stores are the unsung heroes, man.
Yeah.
They're there.
And I've had this conversation even before COVID with my brother about how ungrateful we go into Starbucks. You go jump on a Subway and there's a person who takes your ticket. You go to the fast food restaurant, there's someone who made those French fries. And it's like, we need these people. We need everyone. Everyone plays a part in society.
You know, I've had a lot of successes in the last few years, like in that front, and a lot of it has to do with moving here. And I felt a little bit, on some level, like it would be crappy of me to like come here for the good part and not stay for the bad part.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The real shortage is the N95 masks. I've been told we're at, quote, critical low supply.
Oh, that's so scary.
Yeah, so I mean, if that's, you can't treat patients if you don't have the proper protective equipment. They'll say, well, I have to treat this patient, they'll expose themselves, but then they'll get sick.
Yeah.
And then they can't treat anybody else.
About coping with this, I am not coping that well. I actually shave my head.
I mean, I think the biggest thing for me has been like helping my kids process it. You know, they went from kind of full on like having their life to like everything getting shut down like very quickly.
On the bright side, I've been playing a whole lot of Oculus Quest. Mentally, when you put it on for a little while, you almost forget that you're inside of your living room. You take it off and you're like, oh yeah, I'm still here.
I feel bad for like just Earth and the people of Earth as a whole. It's just being inundated with the news on every level, on social media, on every network, on and everything that you can possibly connect it to. Now, walking by the park, there's COVID-19 like physical signs printed from the townships, like blocking the pathways. Yeah, that's starting to like just kind of chip away at my soul.
Isn't it interesting how things that were super important just like a month ago seem like so insignificant now?
if you're going to go through something as difficult as this, like, I think being around New Yorkers has like been pretty inspiring.
It is necessary for us to come to terms with what's happening and help others and let people know that no matter what, we're not alone in this.
It's really given us all a chance to evaluate ourselves and become better people out of it, and really treat others with more respect and be kinder to each other.
I'm looking forward to who I'm going to become on the other side of this.
In some ways, I feel more connected to people than before.
I think I'm grateful also for the internet, because
we can connect with people all over the world.
Being able to just like pick up and just FaceTime my mom and talk to her for like 2 hours.
I feel distant physically, but emotionally I feel connected with the people I love, and I'm really grateful for that.
I just check in with them. I ask them how they're doing, just making sure that if they have something on their mind, we can talk through it.
Community, coming together, helping each other out.
People are helping each other. People are being very positive.
This truly is global and gives us as humanity the opportunity to unite as one.
I feel like it'll bring the world together, like the whole world.
Nurses and doctors are working day in, day out.
And all over, our curve is flattening out.
Everybody's a lot nicer, especially the people coming into the pharmacy. Everybody's a lot cooler and nicer.
You know, once this is all over, I think people will be thankful.
I mean, I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for New York City, man.
Definitely the doctors.
Well, it's great that I get to spend more time with my family.
I've gotten really close with my parents, got to know them as adults.
Look around you and just be thankful for what you have and what you're going through.
Money's nothing if you haven't got your health, and I feel very lucky that I'm here.
And I'm forever grateful that there are people out there putting it on the line every day to make us better.
It's awesome seeing the community get involved with our healthcare workers.
I really miss sitting down at a restaurant and like just being in like a social space, eating good food. And
oh my god, I miss going to the movie theater so much.
All I want is like some fries and chicken nuggets. But
this makes me realize how much I miss you, man.
I hate video games, but I'm really enjoying this.
We hook it up to our 65-inch TVs.
When you are wearing a face mask, make sure you brush your teeth, because that funky smell you be smelling, that's your breath.
My senior project, which was a self-produced television pilot, is now on Amazon Prime in the States. So check it out if you want to laugh during quarantine.
I miss my family, I miss my friends, I miss my routine. I think we're not going to take things for granted anymore.
Thank God I have a dog.
And just enjoy life as much as possible.
You know, just the ability to go see our friends, like this is giving us a huge new perspective that we would never have.
Bye, I'll see you in 2021.
Someday. All right,
so much.
Stay safe.
Bye,
Bye guys.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks so much. Stay safe. Say bye.
Bye.
Stay safe.
Just look after yourself.
Stay safe.
Peace and love.
Who are you clapping for, Win?
The healthcare providers.
There we go. Awesome. So, why on earth would I start with that? Hopefully, you were able to gain something from that particular video, because I think it's important to know that, I mean, I know I've said it a number of times, but at the same time, depending on where you are physically right now, you could feel like you are by yourself. Like the only one going through it, the only one suffering, the only one who's having to reconsider all of their life. and that's just not the case. As the video title said, we are indeed alone together, if that makes sense. So hopefully that was helpful for you, because having that perspective, I think, will encourage each and every one of us to just understand that, like, one of the favorite things that I heard in that video, I remember the first time I heard it, it's like, we need each other. We need these people. We need every one of you, right? And at this moment, as you've heard me say, at least on many of the prior days, we have a unique opportunity right now to develop the best version, or the next best version, of each and every one of us. And being able to have that opportunity, I think, is, well, to me, it's exciting, because it's something that we can all do intentionally. We can all intentionally take time to build a new skill, whatever that new skill might be. It doesn't even matter, right? And it could be the new skill of just connecting with individuals. It could be the new skill of communicating. It could be the new skill of just facing something that you're afraid of, that you haven't done yet, you know? And I think that's unique. And I think it's unique that we all get to do it simultaneously, because we've all had opportunities in our life to gain new skills, become something different, because something happened to us singularly, right? We've all been in those presentations or seen those individuals who had something traumatic happen to them, and then they overcame it, and we're like, wow, and we listen. But this is something that's happening to every human on the planet simultaneously. And that in and of itself is unique. But it also, like the last quote says, it unites us. And that from that uniting, it is where we take the next step, right? From that, you can begin to glean that humans collectively, together, not only are we strong, but we're actually kind of good, which is cool. So what I want to do, though, is, because if you're anything like me, there can be times where you're like, man, I thought I was better than this. I thought I would have been capable of doing something. I've had all this time out of, I don't know how long it's been for you, but I've had all this time and I still have accomplished nothing. What's wrong with me? That is a very easy place to be, because you're comparing yourself maybe to other people that you're seeing. You're like, man, maybe you were one of those individuals who thought you wanted to be a medical professional and you dropped out of med school. I don't know. You're like, what's wrong with me in some way, shape, or form? And you're trying to figure out, or you maybe you've invested a lot of time or too much time, shrinking back, accepting the job that came your way. And you've considered, man, when this is over, what will I be? What will I be when I grow up? Essentially, and how will I have the capacity, the capability to actually do things? Because one of the things that I have found in training a lot of people to become entrepreneurs is that it's not that we don't know what to do, we just don't do what we know. I'll say that again. It's not that we don't know what to do, we don't do what we know, typically because we're afraid. And that fear, it manifests itself, it shows itself in many different ways. And we stay stuck. You've heard of the analysis paralysis, that whole thing. And we stay stuck until one very specific thing happens. And that's what I want to show you today, is that the one very specific thing that tends to happen because for some reason, that's just how it seems to work. right? And it doesn't make any sense, right? Like right now, you've heard me talking in the positive, hey, we could go be this great thing, and that's inspiring, and that great thing might be something that you actually believe you want, but yet you can't figure out why you can't get yourself to move forward. Understood. So when my wife and I, when we were first going through all the stuff that we went through back in 2008, through once that was quote unquote over, people started asking us, like, how did you do it? How did you stay focused? What on earth made you want to achieve and all this other stuff? It was the strangest thing to me. I didn't think we had done anything special because I just wanted to eat. And yet, one of the things that I also heard was, hey, Jay, you know what? I would like to do real estate. I would like to be a bigger, better version of myself. I would like all of those things, but yet I've got a great job and I don't want to, do I have to lose everything in order to become, to do that? And that to me is the answer is no, you don't have to lose everything. Yet somehow the catalyst for many people is something like that, something akin to that. It is a shock to the system. And because I kept getting the question, because I kept wondering myself, like, what happens to us as humans, that's sometimes what it takes, or that's what it took for me. So what I did is I came up with a diagram or a photo or something, an illustration. I guess that's the best way of saying it, but I'm not an artist. We've discovered that on many of these. So I wanted to share that with you. Let me see. That's going to be this one and that one. Yep, perfect. So I wanted to share that with you because I figured it would help to at least explain, if nothing else. And we can kind of go from there, because one of the questions is why not I, right? That becomes the question, why not I? Or as I said in the title, what's it going to take to get me to go do the things that, in a lot of cases, like I said, it's not that we don't know what to do, we just don't do what we know. Well, here's something that I've discovered that I submit for your acceptance, and you can just sit on it today. Think about it today. Right? Is if you can think about, you know, a line very similar to what I've drawn right here, and then we'll draw another line that goes this way, and we'll go this way, and then this way. This right here is going to be 0, right? That's going to be it's not quite the center, but you get the idea. And then over here, we're going to go up to, we'll say 10. Right? And then over here, we're going to go down to -10. All right. And for a lot of us on this particular scale, we're all on it in some way, shape, or form, right? Depending on how you look at it. So here's what I've seen tends to happen I know it happened for me and for a lot of people. So let's say for whatever reason that you can currently consider your reality I don't know, on this scale, it's somewhere over here. This is your reality, right? And then over here, the next spot is what you desire. We'll also call that your dream, right? So what does this in essence mean? We'll call this a 2, we'll call this a 4 and some change, right? So the reality and your dream. The difference between these two, right? Whoops, that didn't work. That also did. There we go. Good Lord. All right, the difference between these two, this in the middle is called pain, right? And that distance, when it's too close together, it's not enough to motivate us, right? So earlier you heard me describe this like with the whole toothache example, right? So if you have a toothache and you've had it for a while, but it's, you know, bearable. It's not no big deal. You don't do anything about it, right? And until the pain becomes unbearable, we then do something. We feel motivated. See, when reality is, you know, something that we can live with, I mean, it's not bad, but it's not good. It's not everything we want. And the dream that we desire is, well, it feels like it's just out of reach, or I will get there someday if I just keep doing what I'm doing. We tend not to create any additional motivation to go after it. So what happens? How do people decide, and how do people then achieve the things that they want? Well, from what I've seen is usually one of two things. Well, it's usually one of three scenarios, but one of two things actually happens. In some cases, what happens is that their skill set, so let me erase this because I don't want to get that in the way. So their skill set of how to increase, hear me clearly, how to increase their belief behind the things that they want, desire to see happen, increases. And then in the process of doing that, they begin to believe and understand that it is okay to desire more. Now, when I say desire more, I'm not talking just material things. It's not that. It is more whatever, better quality relationships, better quality sleep, better quality health, better quality whatever, more of whatever it is that's important to you, right? Now, what ends up happening is that even though their reality may still feel like a 2, by learning the skill sets of how to increase your belief behind the things that you've always said you wanted, and you begin to go, well, hey, if I'm going to really do this, I want more than just what I have said before, which then means that the gap here, which is still pain, becomes bigger. And when the pain, the distance between your reality and your desire or dream gets greater, motivation increases, right? It's a very human response, right? It's the same thing that happens when you get hungry. When you feel that hunger pain, that, oh, I need to eat, right? At the beginning, it's not that bad. Oh, I need to eat. Then later it's like, I'm hungry. And then at some point, and it's different for each one of us, there comes this point at which you're like, oh no, I need to eat, and right now, right? Because otherwise it's just going to go downhill from here. And each of us know where that is. This is the same. This is what happens with nearly any and everything that you have ever said that you wanted, desired, etc. Now, along that path, along that path of obtaining it, you encounter many different types of obstacles, etc. And if the hunger for the thing isn't greater than that, if you can't see past those obstacles, then it's probably because you still haven't created enough pain. Here's what I mean by that. Let's go back to the toothache example. If it's, you've had the toothache for, you've had a little problem with the tooth for 3-4 months. And then finally, Saturday night, 11:50 p.m., you bite the wrong piece of popcorn or something, and it's over, right? Well, at that moment, even though it's inconvenient, time-wise for everyone, there's nothing you will let get in the way of you making phone calls, of going to the doctor. It doesn't matter. There is no obstacle that feels like it's going to stop you. Meaning, if you're going to wake up the dentist if you have to, you will go and get their home. You will track them down like, you got to fix this because this hurts right now, right? It becomes that important relative to the amount of pain that you're feeling, that we all feel. There's nothing more powerful than our desire to resolve pain. We do our best to just resolve pain. I get you. I'm with you. I want to think about the things that make me excited, and it would be great to go, climb Mount Kilimanjaro. which actually that would be fun. That is something I think it would be interesting, as specifically as an asthmatic, to go climb like Everest or Kilimanjaro or something of that nature. That just sounds like fun to me, right? My wife thinks I'm crazy, but that's okay. My point is, reality, the distance there that creates the pain is where that motivation comes from. That's where my motivation comes from, right? Your reality may have been BC, before Corona, remember, your reality may have been that, you know what, I go to work every day, this, that, and the other, but I dream of one day not having, I dream of one day not having to, there it goes. I dream of one day not having to work for someone else, right? But you had a perceived amount of pain that you would go through during that transition that was, I would rather avoid that. So you didn't, because you're like, man, what am I gonna do? My job, my this, my that, I have responsibilities. Understood, totally understood, and it makes sense. Well, like I said, there's usually one of three things that happens. This is the first one. The other thing that happens, and I'm going to remove myself so that I can draw this one. So the other thing that happens is, yeah, you know what? Sometimes your reality, let's go back. Your reality is still over here, your dream, well, I'll say it this way, and I need a different color. I need red. Okay. Sometimes what happens, instead of getting the skill set of increasing your dream, the belief behind that you can get, what happens is that what you currently are experiencing as your reality gets way worse than you ever imagined, right? Gets just way worse than you ever imagined. And then even though your dream was only, quote unquote, only at this level of 4, because that's what we started at, right? That was the original dream before we learned any skills. So we didn't learn any additional skills to increase our belief. And let me be more clear so that I don't confuse anybody. I want to pull this down here, meaning right here. Boom. Oh, now I went too far. There we go. So now, even though, we didn't increase our skill of believing in any way, shape, or form, right? We didn't do that. But now look at the distance between our reality, because our reality is now over here. It's shifted. This also is pain, right? Pain can happen in many different ways in this particular example and in life in general. But this is the thing that tends to be, the most common, is that our reality gets to a point where it's like, and here are the words. Here are the words. What happens is that we then label this. We label this event. We label this time in our life as one word, and we finally do something about it. It becomes unacceptable. That's the word. It becomes unacceptable. We're like, under no circumstances will I continue to live this way. And it becomes unacceptable. But it's only unacceptable after the pain, after reality gets that much worse. But once it's unacceptable, what happens is somewhat magical, right? And it happens quickly. Because we're like, we get it, just this trigger point. It occurs. You know what? You say to yourself, I am better than this. And you say it and believe it. Now, mind you, we were always better than this. Before it went down, we were always there, but we don't say it until that happens. Now that it's unacceptable, I am better than this. I refuse to accept anything less than. We start believing in a very real sense of the word, and we start taking actions that are congruent with that belief. For whatever reason, that's what it takes, right? But then and only then, because again, remember, we didn't necessarily gain a skill of increasing what it is that we desire, the world that we want. What ends up happening is that we get back to where we were, and we feel accomplished because that was an accomplishment, right? But we may not have made necessarily, quote unquote, forward progress. In some cases, maybe, but not necessarily. And I can remember this because this is when if you've ever heard me talk about the time with my wife when, you know, she's in the hospital and we were first learning to do real estate, I've said many times that zero, like having a bank account balance of zero, would actually been an improvement. That was like the goal. It's like, yay, we got there. My point in saying that is that that's what this kind of was for us at that time, is getting to zero would have been great. That would have felt awesome in every sense of all words. So because at that time it was not something that it seemed, I mean, that's just where we were. It just seemed like, wow, if I could just do that, we'd be awesome. You know, we wouldn't need to do much more. I'm ready. You know, I will have learned something because it would be the thing to be able to know that we made that happen. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the third scenario that I call that happens to the select chosen, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase all of this. This is what happens to the chosen. I mean, chosen in very quotation marks, right? It's like, whew, I do not wish this on anyone, but this becomes what happens, all right? So, as we said, reality was at, whoops, come on. Why did it change to the eraser? Go back. There we go. Reality was at the level of 2, and then the desire was over here at basically a 4. No, what color were we using? I think I was using blue. Right. So that was 4, and that's still too far. There we go. Right. But for a select few people, what happens is you have a situation in which your reality gets way worse, and simultaneously, while that happens, while that occurs, okay, you also learn to increase your belief in your abilities to obtain what it is that you now desire, which then creates a, well, massive, because remember, now your reality is way over, your reality is way over here, and that dream is way over here, and it can create this chasm of pain. That's what we're going to call this for the sake of chasm of pain, right? And it is monster. Okay, it's just monster. And there's nothing you want more other than to resolve it. But here's what happens. What happens is that when you're feeling it, it's very similar to the I guess the best way of putting it is like the physics behind a bow and arrow. Because what happens is that as that bow is being pulled back, or the arrow is being pulled back, it suddenly gets released. And then you and I, like that arrow, once we get released, we overshoot and end up achieving way more than we ever thought, ever imagined, ever assumed, ever understood, didn't even know was capable of, could have never imagined that as our life. period, point blank. And we get introduced to literally, as they would say in Aladdin, a whole new world because we didn't even know that existed. This is literally what my wife and I experienced because we were, like I said, we were squatting in bank-owned property. She was unable to eat or drink. I was unable to walk and talk. It was stressful is an understatement, to say the least. So it didn't really matter what was going on as much as it mattered that we were making progress to resolve the pain. And someone took the time to help me learn to direct my mind intentionally, daily, so that I could keep producing small incremental results towards a goal that was worthwhile. And it took a long time. It took repeated practice, lots of failure to be able to understand those things and put them into practice on a daily basis. And that's what it's going to take, again, for me, for you, for all of us, you know, to get through and become, and because life will continue to beat upon us. That's what it can feel like. Life will continue to beat upon us until we say it's unacceptable, right? Until we decide. Now understand, you can decide whenever you want to that it is unacceptable. Yet for some reason, we tend to wait until it's really, really obvious, right? Because it's almost like we don't want to take our situation and call it unacceptable when we know that there are people who have it worse in many different ways, but that doesn't mean it has to be acceptable. It's like once we think we can get enough people to believe that yes, that is unacceptable for you, then and only then do we have the courage to actually spring forth and do something about it. And I think that's the unique opportunity that I see, is that we all have a lot of cloud cover, right now. You have all the cloud cover you need to make all the mistakes you want because everybody is in agreement. This is unacceptable. I don't want to go back to the way it was or what have you. I want it to be better than this. And collectively, I am almost looking forward to the amount of innovation that's going to come to the marketplace. I have no idea what it's going to be, but it's going to be there. That much I know. Because I've started to see it in our industry, and there's going to be more of it. And some of that innovation is going to come from you guys. And that to me is exciting, because it's going to solve whatever the new problems have been discovered. And maybe now what has been exposed, because understand that that's exactly what has happened, is that this entire situation that we are all experiencing together just exposed all the weaknesses in whatever your plan was. Your plan, go to work, go to school, get good grades, get a job, work there for whatever, use your retirement plan. That plan has been exposed for what it's worth. And again, I'm not saying that that's bad. I'm saying it's not resilient. I'm saying it can be easily interrupted. And if it's easily interrupted, that's the problem with the plan, is that it had a single point of failure. The supply chain, just think about this. I don't know how it's going to be different, but I do know it's going to be different. And that's what I mean by innovation is coming. Where manufacturing occurs is going to change how that works, because it was a world global supply chain. One country goes down, everything stops. Wow. One thing happens, nearly every retail store. You want to talk about some more change? Every retail store. Think about it. There's basically one place most of us are buying things from. One. Outside your grocery store, you on Amazon right now, right? Or maybe your pharmacy. that's interesting. So there are so many things that I think that are going to be different. And inside that difference, inside that chaos, as I said previously, inside that chaos, there's cash flow. And that's where our opportunity lies. Because we get to reinvent ourselves 100%. Like, and nobody knows what it looks like. There is no prior version that you can compare it to. It's like whole new industries, whole new ideas of thought are being birthed and coming to the surface. And the process of birth is painful and weird and messy and all of that. Yet we all get to do it together. The family of humans gets to celebrate together, if you will, because that is what we're doing. And we're doing it together. And I think that's amazing to me, you know? So the goal of what I wanted to share today was really to hopefully help you see that that word unacceptable was available to you long before this happened. Hopefully now, though, it's given you the excuse. It has given you the permission to use it in a strong way to become what was already inside, right? Because see, I know for myself, because of this struggle, because of feeling like inadequate, unable to provide when we were squatting in bank-owned property, I couldn't walk and talk simultaneously without fainting. She couldn't eat or drink. We were selling personal property on eBay. Because of that, because of those things, because of the way the economy was, because I could not find a job, because I could not feel like catch a break, because of those things, that is what made it unacceptable. That is what gave me the courage to take a risk. And that risk turned out to be building a business and doing real estate or providing value to the marketplace. I did not have the courage before. I just didn't. I didn't possess it and probably would have never possessed it if not for the tragedy, if that makes sense. And I look at what's going on now and going, cool, I get to choose again because of all of these things that are going. I get to choose again, what might we look like on the other side, right? And in order to do that, based upon what I've done in the past, and all of us have, is that I had to look those scary, what appeared scary fears in the face, stare them down and tell them and show them and build my belief in what is possible for me to do so that I could begin to dream and think and go, I wonder what would happen if. And that's how this whole going live every day got started, because it was not going to happen clearly any other way. But it has happened now, right? And it is starting to feel like a good thing. It's starting to feel like a good thing. It's starting to feel like something, yes, I can do this. This is good, right? We're gonna make it. Just keep doing, just keep swimming. Anyway, you understand what I'm saying. And I'm sure we're nowhere near the end of what our transformation is gonna be. None of us are, but that's okay, you know, because we're all in this fight and we just got to keep going day by day. The good news, though, like I said, is for each one of us, is that this situation, your situation, you can declare it unacceptable whenever you want to. I'm hopefully encouraging you to declare it unacceptable today and begin to take actions that build your belief behind what's possible, dare I say what's probable for you. And you take daily action towards making exactly that happen. Because see, there's been a redefining what you considered important previously probably isn't as important as it was before. Or maybe there are some things you considered important that have become more important. And now you're rearranging your time, your efforts, your energy around that. You're literally designing your life as opposed to living by default. So, with that being said, for those of you who are here for the first time, thank you for joining. Make sure you typed first in the chat because I'm gonna go over there in just a second. One thing I would love for all of you to do, because we do this every time now, is type one thing in the chat that helped you in some way, shape, or form, because that helps me. Knowing that something helped you helps me know that, yes, what we're doing here, what we're doing together is you're considering it to be worthwhile, because that's ultimately what's important. And even if not, that's fine. If it didn't help me at all, unsub, fine. That's fine too. For those of you over there on Facebook, if you can, get over to facebook.com/cashflowdiarylive. Again, that's facebook.com/cashflowdiarylive, because that is the new Facebook page where you will find us most consistently, because we are already, in fact, we are now down to, I believe, 5 locations. So we've been slowly removing some of the locations where we're going live, right? In fact, there's probably some people wondering, where you at? And we're over here, right? So, but you want to be over there. Now, for those of you on YouTube, you're in the right spot. So no need to move or do anything. We're going to be right there. So just make sure you hit subscribe. And I think in order to get the notifications, you have to hit that notification bell and click all notifications, right? So hopefully, you know, that was... some of that has been helpful. So I want to see what kind of questions and comments you guys have today, and we will talk about that right now. Let me see. Adriana, hey Adriana, how are you doing? Adriana, just side note, you should connect with Dwight Johnson inside the app on your phone. Inside our app, connect with Dwight Johnson. All right, something you're definitely going to want to do. And then she says, happy Saturday. That's right. Somebody's got to remember what day it is. So that's good. Hey, Angela, how are you doing? David Della Gardell. That almost sounds like, oh, you know what? I was thinking of a basketball player, Della Vadova. I can't remember his first name right now. Anyway, Matthew, that's it. That's what that was reminding me. Thanks for doing this. Not able to catch every live stream, but definitely want to go back and watch more. Awesome. Thanks. What's up, William? How are you? I'm good. Adriana. Whoa. That was a lot. What is this? I can't see. Oh, biggest lessons, gratitude for being alive, essential workers for family, friends, acquaintances, and another day here on earth. Exactly. Yes, if you saw that video, then hopefully that helped. Hey, Dietra, how are you doing? Annie says, this is so good. I can almost hear it, right? You could hear it. So good, right? I can hear it. What's the deal with the fingernails? Yeah, I was thinking about that this morning. I just need to get that done. We have always been, my daughter, we have always been better than when our reality became unacceptable. Yes. Claudia, welcome. First time. Hello, how are you? Hopefully things are going well. Thank you for hanging out with us today. Feel free to tag a friend. Adriana says, this has been recalibrating my mindset. Yes, and Adriana, something I want to say. That recalibration is something that is a daily thing. Some days it'll be daily for you, and some days it'll be every 15 minutes. There is no shame in that. There are some days when they go really wrong, I 100% go back to bed and get back up and restart the routine, because it's just that bad. It was like, wow, let's start this over. Because, you know, hey, there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Design your life instead of living by default. Annie, yes. Yes. Deidre, I declared now as unacceptable. 100%. I agree. I think sometimes we're just looking for an excuse to step in and put our superhero outfits on and become what we always were. Nothing like right now. learning that you can be a zero irreducible factor, but you can come out of it. That you can be a zero irreducible factor, but you can come up out of it. That sounds good, but I'm just gonna be transparent. I have no idea what you're trying to say right there. But okay. Thank you, Jay. Oh, good. You connected yesterday. Perfect. Good. I wanted to make sure. Will there be a replay of this? That's a good question, Angela. We remember. I just like, I'm afraid of this. Boom. Let's go. We as a company, we don't know what we're going to do with all of these videos at this particular moment. But as we figure it out, we will definitely let you know. I do believe it stays on Facebook, by the way. So you do have that. Every 15 minutes. Yeah, bro, I am with you. If it's every 15 minutes, then it's every 15 minutes. Whatever it takes, because we've got to develop the skill sets of keeping our minds focused on the task at hand, whatever that task may be, right? It could just be learning to accept the situation. That's fine. It could take times of surrender. It also means one of the things, and maybe we should talk about this, one of the things that's important to develop over time is what Anthony Robbins calls state changers, meaning things that you can do intentionally to change your state, like something that you can do to change not just your physical state. I don't mean like going from a solid to a gas. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about your mental state, something that can influence your energy in a positive way, something that gives you control, like a manual transmission car. You got a lot of control and buttons and clutch and gears and things that you can do. So what I'm saying is, how can you do that with yourself, right? I know that that's something that I've learned or had to learn. What were things that could change my state? So it gives me more control over how to direct my emotions, my feelings, my thoughts, all of those things towards what it is I'm trying to achieve, so that you can stay focused. Maybe that's something that we can talk about on another day, for sure. But with all of that being said, hopefully all of us are together here today. We've been hanging out. We've been learning from each other, watching each other, as the video said, alone together, but still capable of accomplishing something. We don't have to wait for reality to get worse. Although we do, we don't have to wait, but it's something that we often do. And because we often do it, okay, cool, then now we at least have the company of so many other people to do it along with. If you've declared today unacceptable, great. Now your next step is to begin to build that belief behind what's possible, dare I say probable, for you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been fun talking to you guys today. I do look forward to talking to you soon. Until next time.